Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Atlantic Bushcraft Adventures. I think, by all accounts, we're on episode 297? Does that sound right, or did I skip an episode?
It's always possible.
Yeah, anyway, we're somewhere around there. More importantly, it is that time of year. I don't know if we did this last year, but there was one year where we did a really good one. This one, we figured we'd do it more in this format. Wishing everybody out there the best time of year, because once again, it is that time when you should get out and spend a little time with your family. Maybe take them out to the woods, enjoy it a little bit. Funny enough, I was just at a Christmas concert here tonight. And I'm going to butcher this for sure. It was my youngest daughter's, Lily's, and they were singing this song, and it had the greatest words of wisdom hidden in it. And it was, enjoy yourself, do things, be happy. Or something very similar, you know what I mean? And it was just three simple little phrases put together. But does that not describe this kind of time of year, the feeling you should have this time of year? Get out there, enjoy yourself, be happy, and do things.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's pretty good. I definitely want to get out there, enjoy myself, and be happy. So I like that.
Never thought I'd find words of wisdom from a grade 3 Christmas concert.
But it is that time of year. I mean, it is the time of the holidays, Christmas. There's a few others there. I don't want to get into them all because I'm sure I'll miss one and then I'll offend somebody. But it is the holiday season, and everyone is out trying to spend time with their family. Especially here in Canada and North America, it's generally off. I know people in Europe have been off for a while in some places. So, I hope everyone's, enjoying the time of year. They're enjoying their friends, their families, and their favorite activities. And, I mean, our goal today is just wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, because we're planning on taking a couple of weeks to just do that very thing, right?
Absolutely, and that's kind of the other flip side of this episode here, is to let you folks know what is coming in the future. So as Ben said there, the plan right now is, and I assume Ben agrees with this because I think we agreed upon this. The next 2 weeks, we're actually going to take a 2-week vacation and take that time to spend with our families this year. It just so happens to be that both episodes land on major holidays. So next week would be right on Christmas Day. The one after that would be right on New Year's Day. Frankly, I don't expect you folks to tune in during Christmas because I hope you guys have better things to do. Same as New Year's. Not that we don't enjoy the company, just I sincerely hope there is more important people in your life. Not that we don't appreciate it, but
we hope you have better company to spend your holidays with than us.
Trust me, you don't want to spend it with us. You're going to waste the entire... Maybe it is your thing. We'd waste the entire time basically having a few sips of wobbly pops and talking about bushcrafting stuff. Probably sleep systems and hammocks. Seems to be what Ben and I talk about the most, in all honesty. But I mean, that's a thing. It's fun. Now, on the flip side of that, just moving on a slightly bit, did you have anything you want to add on to that, Ben, before I kind of keep crashing through here?
No, you continue on, and I'll interrupt you where I feel I need to.
Perfect. So, alluding to the future, something Ben and I have been talking about here is we're going to reach out to some individuals and hopefully have some guests in some of the upcoming episodes. Once again, not next week or the week after. Next episode that we're going to come back, I believe, is going to be January 8th. So mark that on your calendar, set your alerts, or do whatever the bell thing they tell you to do. You know what the actual good YouTube influencers tell you to do on all their videos? Do that if you want to know when our episode comes back. Because frankly, I'm just not that smart to tell you what they all are. But yeah, January 8th is when we're coming back. And after that, maybe not the first episode, but somewhere after there, we have been in touch with a few individuals. We're hoping to get them on the show and just get a little bit more... a spice of flavor, you know what I mean? Because we are coming up on 300 episodes. And I mean, that is basically, I think it'll be 6 years in March. I was figuring it out the other day. And that's a long time for everybody to just be listening to Ben and I. And we have had guests on the show in the past and things like that. And it's worked out absolutely marvelous. We usually get some of the best responses there. So the plan is to hopefully do a little more of that. And on that note, like I said, I have reached out to a few individuals, but if you are out there and you would like to be on the show and you have something related to the show, because I'm not opening that door for all the strangeties that could come floating across the internet. But realistically, folks, if you are into bushcrafting, maybe you have a YouTube channel, maybe you're new to it, maybe you're just doing some stuff out in the backyard, different part of the world, anything like that, we would love to have some people come on here and talk about their experiences. And as you folks can tell, Ben and I, we don't plan a lot of this stuff other than maybe a quick conversation the day off. It tends to be pretty loose, pretty fluid. We try to be laid back, have a lot of fun with this, and frankly, I think it would be even more fun to get more people involved in this. Like I said, see their experience, see if you're on YouTube, hear if you're on all our other services, their experiences, thoughts. It's just amazing when you start talking to other people how different but similar things can be, if that makes any kind of sense. We all do things very similar, but vastly different. And sometimes you learn stuff you never would have thought of because it's just simply a different and unique perspective. We all have one. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to throw this out there just because you said if you're very weird and you want to type in something you can still reach out to us. We just probably won't post it as a podcast. It isn't that we won't talk to you. We will probably talk to anyone about absolutely anything.
Pretty much, absolutely. It's just it has to be podcast friendly to come on to the show. We do consider ourselves, like, at best, PG. Like, I mean, we tend to keep things pretty clean. You know what I mean? The odd, very minor profanity, but other than that, we try to keep things relatively family friendly. You know what I mean? We try to not say anything you couldn't hear on your local radio station. And frankly, everything we've said, I've heard worse on our local radio station. Anywhere here in Nova Scotia.
Q104?
Yeah, Q104 and 97.9 here. It's the same radio station, just different ends of the province.
Yeah, no, that one can get quite interesting at times.
Yeah, it's amazing what you can say on free broadcast is all I'm going to say.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess going along on those lines, if you folks have ideas on people we should reach out to, we're always up for that too. I mean, some of the past guests we've had have been suggestions to us, and it's been wonderful. We have reached out to some individuals that we have unfortunately lost contact with because their circumstances and things have changed, and that does happen. So we do try to reach out to a great number of people and take as many people in as we can. But the reality, just so people are aware, coordinating 3 people to come onto a podcast can sometimes be a little unique, especially when you are all over the planet. Ben and I share a 4-hour time difference, and then if we take somebody else into that shares another extreme difference, it can sometimes get a little interesting. But we do try our best to make it work for everybody, and that may mean, in the odd situation, we may have to either change the day or the time that we do our podcast, simply because we try to allow for our guests above and beyond our own selves, because of course, it's our podcast, you know what I mean? We're the ones that are doing this willingly, and hopefully those other folks are going to come in just out of the goodness of their heart, because once again, we can't stress enough, you're not going to get paid for this, folks. This is volunteer. But yeah, if you just want to come out and have a shout out to your own YouTube channel or something like that, like, networking is a beautiful thing. We have gotten a lot of subscribers ourselves, and I hope that we've sent subscribers in other people's ways. I just really want to expand our network, get some new opinions, some thoughts, maybe even a little new humor, just to spruce things up a little bit. So it's not...
What are you saying? We're looking for some collabs?
Yeah, to a degree, you know what I mean? Like, I would be totally up for that. I really want to see what we can do now, if that makes any kind of sense. And I love doing the podcast, and we can keep doing it exactly the same way. Ben and I have no shortage of talking. I can guarantee you that. You should know from our podcast, we genuinely enjoy chatting about anything.
Along those lines, I should, because I'm sure some people listening have wondered what's happened to it and what may come of it, or if it'll ever appear. The digital campfire isn't a dead idea.
No, it's ridiculously hard to coordinate, is what we have figured out. Once again, because of those varying time differences. Oh, what day is going to work for you? Well, this day works for me at this, and this time. And if you're trying to coordinate that against what we wanted was a minimum of 5 people, that gets really crazy, really fast.
And I think our thoughts were either a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday was the best.
Yeah, it's going to have to be one of those weekendish days. And then, once again, folks, the whole digital campfire thing was maybe once a month, once every couple months, something like that, just because of how difficult it is going to be to coordinate. And most likely, those things are not going to be PG, so I don't know how we're going to incorporate that into our own channel, which was another hurdle that we came up with after YouTube changed a lot of their policies and stuff like that. And there's a lot of stuff getting taken down for a lot of weird and wacky reasons, and so just potentially... Sorry?
Just throwing this out there for everyone. We could create a totally separate channel that has no digital connection to us. It'd be the same two people. We could have a somewhat similar name, but we wouldn't have the same, because if they shut one channel down, it wouldn't affect the other.
Yeah, and that might be a better idea too. You know what? This is where the collab thing comes in too. Maybe somebody that knows a little bit more about YouTube, because Ben and I can tell you a lot about the outdoors. We learn technology, specifically YouTube, as we go. And sometimes through a nasty email that we'll occasionally receive for something we may or may not have said in a previous video. But apparently political things YouTube does not like.
Have you been sheltering me from something?
Nah, it was one of those things. It was an old video, it disappeared, and it died at that spot, so it wasn't worth getting into it. Okay. It was one of the videos I put up on a review, actually, so it was more my fault than yours.
The chance of that?
Surprisingly high.
Wow.
But yeah, that's kind of our future plans for the channel here, as well as, heads up, next 2 weeks we're not going to be around, simply because we're going to be enjoying some time with the family there. We may throw some pictures and stuff up on the Facebook page. Like, we're not disappearing off the face of the planet. We are just not going to do the podcast, because once again, they're both on Christmas Day and New Year's Day. I'm sure Ben has plans New Year's Eve, which is going to make New Year's Day probably a recovery day. If not from wobbly pops or something like that, just from sheer exhaustion, from hanging out with friends and getting out there, enjoying and doing stuff, maybe playing in the woods. It's hard to say. It's a lot going on, and frankly, this will be the first year we've taken those weeks off to spend with the family. It's also the first year, like I said, it landed on Christmas Day and New Year's, but we generally always do a podcast. The only other one that we kind of did a nod to was when we landed on Remembrance Day. So if we land directly on a holiday, I mean, we kind of want to spend it with our families too, if that makes any kind of sense.
Yeah. So that's it. Along those lines, there's still more to come. I think in case anyone ever had that fear, there is no talk of ending this. It is going to
I bought a mic for this. I still have to make this thing worth it.
There's at least 2 more years there.
At least. It was a rather expensive mic. I have to justify it.
So, but yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure there's some new things coming. Not all of it have we even thought of yet. But yeah, we expect next year to be another good year. Hopefully a year of growth and new friends and new experiences.
Absolutely. And one last little hint I may give people, because Ben and I have not talked about this, and I'm going to call them out right on this episode. I'm going to keep it somewhat sheltered. People will kind of get an idea, but Ben will know exactly what I mean. MREs. Are we still going down that line?
MREs?
Yeah. Remember what we were talking about with those once upon a time?
Yeah, we could start that.
That might be something in the future, too. I got some content now backed up for it. And I know you do as well. So we'll leave the people with that alone, and they can figure that out in their own heads, what we could or may not be doing with those.
Yeah.
I think that's a good place to leave it. Leave the people wanting more. Anyway, folks, that is kind of everything in a nutshell. We just didn't want to sign off and not let you folks know where we disappeared to, as well as give you kind of a heads up of the things we've been talking about here in the last month or so. Not because we're tired of what we're doing, just because it would be interesting to see what we can do as well. Jacob DeFord, have yourself a great holiday too there, man. Get out there, have fun, do what you enjoy, spend it with some family, enjoy the holidays, hopefully play in the woods at least once. Same as Steve the Drifting Spores joining us there, and there's a third person they haven't chimed in there. Whoever you are, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Season's Greetings, whatever it is that you do this time of year, do it to the fullest. Please enjoy it, and I guess we'll talk to you next year, folks.